50 Brené Brown Quotes for Unstoppable Self-Motivation. Authenticity is a collection of choices that we have to make every day. Connection is why we're here. It is what gives purpose and meaning to our lives. Empathy fuels connection. Sympathy drives disconnection. Empathy is feeling with people. Shame corrodes the very part of us that believes we are capable of change. Shame is the most powerful master emotion. It's the fear that we're not good enough. The ability to be in the present moment is a major component of mental wellness. The ability to be vulnerable is courage at its most raw and real. The greatest barrier to connection is the cultural importance we place on going it alone. The most important thing is to find people who will be honest with you, who will tell you the truth, who will hold you accountable. The only way to change the culture is to infuse it with new stories. The only way to experience true connection is to be vulnerable. The opposite of scarcity is not abundance. It's enough. The people who have a strong sense of love and belonging have the courage to be imperfect. Vulnerability is not a weakness. It's the birthplace of innovation, creativity, and change. Vulnerability is not knowing victory or defeat. It's understanding the necessity of both. It's engaging. It's all in. Vulnerability is not weakness, and the uncertainty, risk, and emotional exposure we face every day are not optional. Vulnerability is not winning or losing. It's having the courage to show up and be seen when we have no control over the outcome. Vulnerability is the core of all emotions and feelings. Vulnerability is the core, the heart, the center of meaningful human experiences. Vulnerability is the glue that holds relationships together. It's the magic sauce. Vulnerability is the only path to more love, belonging, creativity, and joy. Vulnerability sounds like truth and feels like courage. We all have the capacity for courage, but we need to practice it like a muscle. When we numb vulnerability, we numb joy, we numb gratitude, we numb happiness. When we shut ourselves off from vulnerability, we distance ourselves from the experiences that bring purpose and meaning to our lives. You are imperfect, you are wired for struggle, but you are worthy of love and belonging. Authenticity is the daily practice of letting go of who we think we're supposed to be and embracing who we are. Brave leaders are never silent around hard things. But true belonging is not something we negotiate or accomplish with others. It's a personal commitment that we carry in our hearts. Connecting the dots of our lives, especially the ones we would rather erase or skip over, requires equal parts self-love and curiosity. Dig deep, get deliberate, inspired, and going. Everyone has a story or a struggle that will break your heart. And if we're really paying attention, most people have a story that will bring us to our knees. Grace means that all of your mistakes now serve a purpose instead of serving shame. Here's what is truly at the heart of wholeheartedness: worthy now. Not if, not when. We're worthy of love and belonging now, right this minute, as is. I don't have to chase extraordinary moments to find happiness. It's right in front of me if I'm paying attention and practicing gratitude. I now see that owning a story and loving ourselves through that process is the bravest thing that we will ever do. If we are brave enough often enough, we will fall. These are the physics of vulnerability. If we can share a story with someone who responds with empathy and understanding, shame can't survive. Imperfections are not inadequacies, they are reminders that we're all in this together. In a society that says put yourself last, self-love and self-acceptance are revolutionary. Let go of who you think you're supposed to be. Embrace who you are. Only when we are brave enough to explore the darkness will we discover the infinite power of a light. Sometimes the bravest and most important thing you can do is just show up. Staying vulnerable is a risk we have to take if we want to experience connection. Talk about your failures without apologizing. Talk to yourself like you would to someone you love. The dark does not destroy the light, it defines it. It's our fear of the dark that casts our joy into the shadows. The middle is messy, but it is also where the magic happens. The opposite of belonging is fitting in. The truth is that falling hurts. The dare is to keep being brave and feel your way back up. To me, a leader is someone who holds her or himself accountable for finding potential in people and processes. To see and to be seen. That is the truest nature of love. True belonging never asks us to change who we are. True belonging requires us to be who we are. Vulnerability is not weakness, and that myth is profoundly dangerous. Vulnerability sounds like truth and feels like courage. Truth and courage aren't always comfortable, but they're never weakness. Want to be happy? Stop trying to be perfect. We are born makers. We move what we're learning from our heads to our hearts through our hands. We can choose courage or we can choose comfort, but we can't have both. Not at the same time. What we know matters, but who we are matters more. When we combine the courage to make clear what works for us and what doesn't, with the compassion to assume people are doing their best, our lives change. Worthiness doesn't have prerequisites. You are imperfect, you are wired for struggle, but you are worthy of love and belonging. You either walk inside your story and own it, or you stand outside your story and hustle for your worthiness. You may not control all the events that happen to you, but you can decide not to be reduced by them.